Hey everyone! No matter what your day is like, the same thing always happens. And you know what I'm talking about. It's dinner. Every single day we come to the same time where I either want to be standing in the pantry snacking or preparing dinner that someone's probably going to complain about, but not today. Today is all about making everyone happy, and that's all thanks to a little trick. So let's get started making our famous Tex-Mex salad. All right, I'm gonna start off by prepping some ingredients. And this is from our brand new cookbook called Raised in the Kitchen. It's all about teaching your kiddos how to cook with you, and maybe for yourself too, if you didn't happen to grow up in the kitchen. So I'm gonna start with the lettuce so that I can pass this off to some little ones in a bit. I just chopped off the end. I'm gonna run it under the water. Okay, let me just chop this in nice big pieces. And the best part about a meal like this is that it has a lot of different parts that you can stick kiddos on. So I'm gonna put all the lettuce in the salad spinner while I go about chopping, and then I'll have someone else help me out, because just since I'm the mom doesn't mean that I have to do all the work myself. All right, so we're gonna chop up some avocados, and you know the rule, you start from the top and you work your way all the way around the pit. Twist, and voila. Okay, this always makes people a little nervous, but the best way to get the pit out is to pinch your knife, smack the pit, and give it a turn, and voila. Okay, I'm just gonna push that off in 5 hours. Okay, now we're just going to do slices. You can chop them, mince them. You could even smash it up into guacamole. That's the best part about Tex-Mex, is anything goes. But I'm just going to run my knife through here. I need to grab a spoon so that I can scoop the flesh out. Growing up, I totally was not a fan of avocado until we took this really fantastic vacation in Mexico. And every day we'd head to the pool and order nachos poolside. And they had the most incredible guacamole I have ever had, and I have been totally sold ever since. So if all else fails, haul the kids off to Mexico and maybe you'll cure everyone of their picky eating. All right, jalapenos next. Jalapeno totally makes me laugh every time because I have this good friend that went ahead and chopped up a jalapeno one day and then touched their face, and the burning was no bueno. So make sure after chopping your jalapeno, you rinse off your knife and you wash your hands so that you are not burning for the rest of the day. The kids are not a fan of these, but I put them in a little dish off to the side so that whoever wants a little kick can totally have it. We're gonna chop a red onion. Set a piece of it aside and peel it off here. I kind of like to look for ingredients that are going to have lots of beautiful color and variation. It kind of gets everyone more excited to eat, especially when it's dinner time, because everyone's already had such a long day. You kind of want to feel a little bit like you have a moment to yourself. So I'm just pressing my hand down flat on the onion and running my knife along the inside. I just want to dice it, so I'm making them as small as possible. Let's do one more. And then there's these nice little ribs all along your onion, so you're just holding on tight and following it all the way around. I think there's nothing more satisfying than running a knife through onions, carrots, lettuce, just that sound and crunch. It's kind of fun. Okay, so we've got our onion chopped, and we're gonna move on to the bell peppers. I have such a fun trick here. Slice off your top, and then I'm just going to run my knife down and around the bell pepper, and then you don't have to worry about all those seeds in the center. Voila! Isn't that so fancy? But it's not really, it's super easy. So I'm just gonna chop up some bell pepper here. I chose to do a red and a green, again, just trying to incorporate color. I happen to know a thing or two about getting your kids to eat, and I had 3 picky kids of my own. One is still such a picky eater, but we're working on it, and that's part of how we do it. We stick him in the grocery store with us, have him touch the food, and get him involved in the kitchen. In fact, let's call them in right now so that Mom isn't doing all the work alone. Hey guys, do you want to come in the kitchen and help out? Okay, while the family's gathering together, try doing age-appropriate tasks for each person. So, Claire and Grayson, do you guys want to help out?
Yeah.
Okay, can I have you guys spin the lettuce? Grayson, I have a feeling you're gonna love this job. Let me show you. We lock this into place and then give it a push. Push it hard. See it spinning? It's gonna spin off all the water, so keep pumping it. Cade, I need the beans started, tomatoes chopped, and cheese.
That is cheese.
So hard sometimes. Okay, tomatoes, cheese, beans, please. Okay, and then Peyton, I already know what you're going to want to do. Peyton has this great love for Tex-Mex salad dressing. We created the recipe together, so will you do the dressing, please?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's get to it. Good job, Grayson. So this is a recipe Peyton and I did together. Peyton loves Tex-Mex salads, and one of your favorite things ever is doing the tomatillo dressing, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes we're short on time, and so we need to do kind of a half homemade recipe. So we're gonna start out with the ranch. We pour it in the blender here. Okay, we're gonna use a tomatillo. Did you know that tomatillos actually are underripe when they're like this? When they're ripe, they're yellow. So we're actually using one that's not ripe. And it's a little sticky, but it kind of tastes like, almost like a tomato, but it has a little bit more of a lemony, limey zest. So will you just chop it in half so the blender's not going nuts? And then we're gonna add taco seasoning and break off just a little bit more flavor in there, right? And then break off a handful of cilantro, just a nice big handful like that. Yep, and throw it into the blender. Need some mom help there?
Yes.
Okay. Throw it on in. And then do you want to show them how to do a lime? You push out all the juices in it, right?
Yeah.
Peyton learned her lesson a long time ago. It's much easier to squeeze a lime if you roll it first. And then go ahead and slice it. Okay. I made sure to stick Mr. Muscles over here on the most delicate job in the entire kitchen.
I know.
Just
heavy lifting here.
Thanks. It's kind of nice to have everyone together, though. Grayson, good job tearing. You have a good teacher, huh? Once you guys are done with the lettuce, I'm gonna have you crunch up some chips and put them in the very center. So here's one thing that I learned. It's that if you have the opportunity to let your kids kind of pick and choose things, they're more likely to eat it. So if you're making pizza, try having a variety of toppings and let them make their own little corner for themselves. Taco salad is so easy. We get out this big chip dip platter and we put each ingredient in a different section. And then all the kids can just pick what they want to put on their salad that night. But the rule is, you have to try at least one bite of the main dish. So the meat will be the main part, and everyone has to try at least a bite. Okay, let's make it right now since we're talking about it. I'm just going to add the ground beef into a nice and hot pan. I've got my trusty little meat chopper. I'm just going to break it up. So ground beef cooks really quite quickly. You don't want to cook it on low heat. You kind of turn it up nice and high. You get it browning in the pan. Depending on what ground beef you try, you might need to drain off some grease before we add the seasoning. So I'm just going to cook this up and then we'll drain it off in the sink in a second. Okay, while I'm doing this, Kate is starting on the cheese, and the kids should just about be ready to start on the chips. So Kate, if you'll just chop the cheese into little cubes, that way everyone gets a little bite of it. Awesome. And Peyton, would you mind rinsing off the blender and getting it out of the way so we can get ready for dinner?
Yeah.
Thanks. Just so that we don't have a big pile of greasy meat, we want to taste the taco seasoning and not all of that. So we're just going to scrape it into here. Give it a little jiggle, and right back into the pan. Now it's time for the good stuff, the seasoning. Look how easy that was. It just takes 3 to 5 minutes to brown a bunch of meat, add in some taco seasoning. We're gonna add a little bit of water. Taco seasoning has a thickener in it, so if you add some water in, then you get that nice, juicy, flavorful meat. So I'm just gonna give this a stir and allow it to simmer until it has thickened. Man, look at how good and saucy that looks. It's delicious. And take a look. I mean, this is honestly how dinner goes at our house. It's just normal life. And that's what Raised in the Kitchen is all about. It's just about coming together and having moments together as a family. And we're gonna scoop instead of lift. Sometimes looks can be deceiving, and although I look like I'm made of muscles, a big old pan like this is too much. Okay. Okay, hey, will you guys help us get this all pulled together? Peyton, we need to run warm water over the corn. This is one of my favorite tricks ever, is that you don't have to go crazy to have roasted corn. You can buy it in the freezer section. All you do is put it in a bowl, run warm water over it, and it goes right on top of the salad. No cooking necessary. So Peyton, will you tackle that? Hey, cute kids.
Yeah.
Will you guys please start arranging all the ingredients around that? Thanks, Claire.
So I'm just putting hot water over the corn, and then I'm gonna drain it so that it's all soft.
All right, you can do this however you want. I kind of like to start with lettuce on the bottom, then the meat, and make the smallest things on top. That way they don't fall to the bottom.
Or you could triple the meat and hold the lettuce and add more cheese.
Which is Kate's style. Whatever makes you happy doesn't matter to me. I tend to skip the jalapenos. So whichever way you end up doing this, this is one of our family favorite recipes that we hope you enjoy with your own family. You can get the recipe in our new cookbook, Raised in the Kitchen, Making Memories from Scratch, one recipe at a time.